In 2018, President Donald Trump launched a trade war with China. He imposed tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods. Trump argued that China was engaging in unfair trade practices. He accused China of intellectual property theft and forced technology transfers. The tariffs were designed to protect American jobs and businesses. China retaliated with tariffs of its own on American goods. The trade war escalated over the next 2 years. Tariffs were raised on both sides. The conflict created uncertainty in the global economy. Businesses faced higher costs and disrupted supply chains. The trade war also had a significant impact on farmers in the United States. China is a major market for American agricultural products. The tariffs led to a sharp decline in exports. Despite the tariffs, China continued to export goods to the United States. Chinese companies found ways to absorb some of the costs. They also benefited from a weaker Chinese currency. The trade war did have some negative effects on the Chinese economy. However, it did not cripple China's growth. The trade war between the United States and China was a major event in global economics. It highlighted the growing economic rivalry between the two countries. The tariffs imposed by both sides had a significant impact on businesses and consumers. The trade war also contributed to rising tensions between the two superpowers. Tariffs have a long and contentious history in the United States. In the early days of the Republic, tariffs were a primary source of government revenue. They were also used to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. One notable example is the Tariff of Abominations of 1828. This tariff was designed to protect northern industries. However, it had the unintended consequence of harming southern cotton exports. In the 20th century, the United States embraced free trade as a cornerstone of its economic policy. This shift was driven by the belief that free trade promotes economic growth and global stability. However, there have been periods of protectionism. The most infamous example is the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. This act raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods. It is widely believed to have exacerbated the Great Depression. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act had a devastating impact on global trade. Other countries retaliated with tariffs of their own. This led to a sharp decline in international commerce. The experience of the Great Depression reinforced the view that protectionism is harmful to the global economy. After World War II, the United States played a leading role in establishing the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, or GATT. This agreement provided a framework for reducing tariffs and other trade barriers. GATT was succeeded by the World Trade Organization, or WTO, in 1995. The WTO is the international organization that regulates global trade. China possesses several strategic advantages that enable it to withstand trade disputes. One key advantage is its centralized economic planning. The Chinese government can direct resources and implement policies more swiftly than many other countries. This allows China to absorb short-term economic shocks and adjust its strategies as needed. Furthermore, China boasts a massive domestic market. With a population exceeding 1.4 billion people, China has a significant internal consumer base. This reduces its reliance on exports and provides a buffer against external economic pressures. China has been actively promoting domestic consumption as a key driver of its economic growth. Another advantage is China's dominance in rare earth elements. These elements are crucial for various high-tech industries, including electronics, renewable energy, and defense. China controls a significant portion of the global supply of rare earths. This gives it leverage in trade negotiations. Other countries are heavily reliant on China for these essential materials. Moreover, China benefits from political stability. The Chinese Communist Party has been in power for over 7 decades. This long-term stability allows for consistent economic policies and long-term planning. China can pursue strategic objectives without the disruptions often associated with political transitions in other countries. The trade war between the United States and China had a significant economic impact on both countries. In the United States, farmers were hit particularly hard. China is a major importer of American soybeans, pork, and other agricultural products. The tariffs imposed by China led to a sharp decline in exports. This resulted in financial hardship for many American farmers. Consumers in the United States also felt the effects of the trade war. The tariffs on Chinese goods led to higher prices for a wide range of products. From electronics to clothing, consumers faced increased costs. This contributed to inflation and reduced consumer purchasing power. The trade war also introduced uncertainty into the stock market. In China, the trade war resulted in slower export growth and reduced investment. Chinese businesses faced higher tariffs on their goods in the United States. This made their products less competitive. The trade war also led to a decline in foreign investment in China. However, China also took steps to mitigate the impact of the trade war. The Chinese government implemented stimulus measures to boost domestic demand. China also sought to diversify its trading partners. It strengthened ties with other countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. This reduced its reliance on the United States as a trading partner.